Particular Judgment and Purgatory, November 10, 1996. My dear people, the science of medicine has its own definition of what death is and when it occurs, but considered from the viewpoint of theology, it is the moment of separation of body and soul. While we can define death in that manner, we cannot know for sure at what precise moment it occurs. But at that moment, the separated soul is faced with one of three possibilities. Immediate and full union with God, because nothing impedes that union. Or immediate and eternal separation from God, because that separation was chosen during life, such as by committing mortal sin, and one died clinging to that choice. Or a temporary delay in that union with God, because while being in God's friendship, there are remains of sin which impede that union. While the belief that each soul is judged immediately after death has not been explicitly defined as a dogma of faith, it is implicitly contained in the Church's defining by two ecumenical councils that the reward or punishment of each individual begins immediately after death. In an instant, the soul is judged and finds itself in one of the above three states. All this happens in a moment because once the soul is separated from the body, its manner of knowing is completely different from what it is on earth. It no longer depends on the body and senses in acquiring knowledge. All that clouds the act of knowing or hinders or slows down its process is removed. It no longer acquires knowledge laboriously, step by step, but knows completely, and in an instant, all that is revealed to it. It then knows in the same manner as the angels know. At the moment of death, there is one grand instantaneous manifestation of truth. At that moment, God illumines the mind so that it has a clear and unbiased look at itself. It sees itself as it is, in the sight of God. This manifestation of truth causes the vivid realization, especially of two things. First, the true state of one's soul as the outcome of all his free acts during his life on earth. Second, his future lot and the appropriateness and inevitableness of it. Let us examine them briefly. We will see the true state of our soul. We will see our whole life as we have not seen it before, as God sees it and reveals it to us. In this life, we do not see clearly the evils of sin, because we know God only in an obscure way, through faith. But then we will see so much more clearly the immense love, majesty, and holiness of Him whom we have offended. In this life, we so quickly forget our multiple offenses against God and the countless times He has pardoned us. In this life, we realize so little how completely dependent on God we are, and how constantly He is offering His gifts to us. And as a consequence, we render Him little thanks. But then all will be so clear, and our unpaid debt of gratitude so manifest. At the moment of death, the true value of things comes into focus as never before. Many things which in this life seemed so important will then seem so inconsequential, while other things which seemed so insignificant, for example, little things done out of love for God, will then loom so great, so important. The honor, power, and glory of the world will then seem so empty in the presence of the divine intelligence. For those who sought not the praises of this world, but labored to fulfill God's law and bore patiently the trials of life in the light of faith, it will be a joyous manifestation indeed. God's light will illuminate the deepest realms of the soul, so that it will see the deeply rooted attachments that we are now only vaguely aware of. There will be nothing hidden that will not be made manifest to the soul. The soul will be overwhelmed with the irresistible conviction and certainty that this is what I am. We will know our future lot. In the same instant that we will see the true state of our soul, we will know our future lot and the appropriateness and inevitableness of it. There will be no dialogue, no arguing of points, no cross-examination, no calling in of witnesses. As we have stated, the soul will be faced with one of three possibilities. For those who are lost, they will know immediately that hell is the only possibility for them, and in an instant their eternal separation from God will begin. They chose in this life to do without God, to ignore His laws, and at the moment of death, Their will is fixed in that choice, so that they are eternally incapable of love or repentance. For those who are saved, the reverse is true. They will know in an instant that they are saved, and their will is fixed in love of God, and that they are incapable of sin. Among those who are saved, some, only God knows how many or how few, at the moment of death are so repentant of their sins, and have so offered reparation for them, that no stain, no debt whatsoever remains. Immediately they will be admitted to the beatific vision of the divine Trinity. Without doubt they will have sinned during life on earth, perhaps gravely, but they so repented and offered reparation through their sufferings, sicknesses, trials, or even martyrdom, that no debt of sin remains. Among those who are saved, the great majority, according to most theologians, will leave this world with the remnants of sin, some debt to God unpaid, some part of self that has not been surrendered to Him. It can be unrepented venial sin, or undue attachments to self, deeply rooted because of repeated sin, or the debt of temporal punishment left after sins have been forgiven. Even when the guilt of sin has been forgiven, the debt or punishment often remains, in part at least, because of the imperfection of our contrition or the incompleteness of our turning away from sin. That a debt of punishment can remain even after sins are forgiven is a reality of fact. Purgatory pays that debt. That is the grace of purgatory. That is the beauty of purgatory.